Hey guys!
Hey guys!
It's time for another Walking Dead review. This time we're reviewing The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 2, titled JSS. If you haven't seen the episode and you want to avoid any spoilers, you're going to want to skip this video and come back later, because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler.
This was a good episode.
It was a really good episode. Alright, the main thing I want to talk about is Rambo Carol 2.0.
Yes.
Oh my god, absolutely amazing.
Brilliant.
Yes.
At first, I thought she had covered up because she didn't want everybody to see how badass she was.
Yeah.
And then she draws a W, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's even more brilliant than I ever knew. She effectively disguises herself as one of them, and they have no idea that it's not her. That it's not one of them.
Yeah. She's a Rambo Carol in wolf's clothing.
Yeah,
and,
it was amazing.
And she comes across Morgan a couple of times in this episode. And I gotta tell you, I'm getting really frustrated with Morgan.
Yeah. And I don't know if that was the point of this episode, was that Morgan needed to come to terms with sometimes you have to kill people.
Yeah.
Because, like, even he comes in contact with Carol and he's like, you don't have to kill them. And she's basically like, yeah, you do. And it comes to bite him once when he lets somebody go and then they attack him later and says, you can't do it, can you? And he ends up having to kill him. Yeah. And I think it's going to come back to bite him in a later episode because he lets somebody leave and he gets a gun. Mm-hmm. So I think somebody's going to die because of that gun, and Morgan's either going to completely lose it or he's going to have a complete turnaround and actually become a survival of the zombie apocalypse and not whatever he is right now.
Right now, he's very unlike the comic book version of Morgan, who is just not a very capable person. He seems kind of cowardly and just, he's a little bit crazy. And this Morgan is very zen and calm, and he's a total pacifist. And
but he's very capable. Like,
yes.
He has the capability to be a badass and to be, like, taking down these bad people, and he just doesn't. And
I'm wondering if they're going to at least visit the comic book version of Morgan a little bit when the wolf taking that gun finally does come around to bite him in the ass. Yeah,
maybe he goes a little crazy and then is able to bring himself out. I really, really liked the version of Morgan they teased us getting. This, like, yeah, he didn't like killing, but he would. Mm-hmm. But, like, in this episode here, it was like, these people are attacking and killing your people. You don't give them a second chance. You don't warn them and let them leave. You take them out.
And they're not even just killing people. They're just...
Yeah, like, they're hacking them up.
Totally overkill on everything. And just the fact that Morgan is seeing this and still thinks that he can, not kill these people and not, resort to... I'm so frustrated.
I think I know, like, okay, so when we first got reintroduced to Morgan, he's sitting by himself and people try to take him out, and he's not, it's
two of the wolves who are in this episode.
Against him. And he, he doesn't want to kill them. That's fine. That's one-on-one.
Two-on-one.
Or, two-on-one, whatever, but it's him. They're attacking him, and he decides to let them go. But now he's in this community, and it's the whole group attacking them, and he's letting them go. It's a different thing. It's completely different.
Hack their people to pieces.
And, they came in here, they're killing all these people, and he's letting them go. What makes you think they're not going to just come back? They see what you have. Now they want it.
And we have no idea how big this group of wolves is. They'd be like sand people, they're easily frightened off, but they'll come back in greater numbers.
Yeah,
Who knows?
How big of a group did they send in for this first time? This could have been the dispensable members of the group that they sent in just to kind of scope it out and take what they could.
Party.
Yeah, it could have just been a scout party. There could be a whole huge group of them.
Yeah. So, yeah, Morgan, bad Morgan.
Yes, we are very disappointed in you, young man.
Okay, speaking of overkill, Jessie gets this amazing scene where she's fighting off one of the wolves, and she gets her down, and she has, looks like a pair of the...
It's her shears from when she cut her hair.
And she's just like psycho, just over and over and over again. And that was a great scene for Jessie because she's totally taking out all of the rage and frustration that she's felt through all of these years with Pete, and she's taking it out on this intruder. My only problem with this scene is I really wish that intruder had been a man.
Yeah, I agree. And but I do want to point out one of the amazing things about this scene is that you know, having been in an abusive relationship, she's learned some tricks, and she uses one of them.
Yeah.
The lady slams her against the wall, and she pretends like it knocks her out, and then the lady totally buys it. Now, she goes to grab the gun to shoot her, but she doesn't even check her. She's like, I got her, and then went to grab the gun, and then Jessie kills her with the cutting shears. And that was absolutely amazing. I'm glad that they worked that in, that she was able to kind of, you know, trick this lady into thinking that she was just like any other suburban housewife, and she's not.
No, she is a total survivor. She's lived in a very abusive relationship, so she has learned these things. She's learned how to survive.
Yeah, and she can take much more than that lady was dishing out, but that lady didn't know that, so she just assumed that, oh, well, I'm stronger than this suburban housewife, and I've took her down. Now I'll kill her and loot her house.
So absolutely great Jessie scene. I do still think Jessie's on the chopping block for this season, though.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, one of the questions I had in this episode is how far away is the herd when the horn starts going off? Because it seems like Morgan gets there pretty quickly, and maybe that's just an editing thing, but it did seem like it was pretty fast. And how far away was Morgan from Rick? Because it seemed like Rick sent Morgan off, you know, and then not too long after that, the horn started going.
Yeah, like, Rick kills Carter, and then he sends Morgan back along the herd to kind of help them out.
Yeah.
And he goes forward to kind of keep them in the same direction. And so we don't really know how much time passed there before the horn. It seemed almost instantaneous, but I'm sure it wasn't. You know, they can't let us walk with them for 15 minutes. That would be boring. So it does, it did seem a little weird that Morgan got there and helped with the whole entire thing, and Rick's still not back.
Yeah, and this incursion, this battle with the wolves, takes 45 minutes.
Yeah, it takes 45 minutes. She sets the timer, and it goes off at the end.
We know because of the casserole.
Yeah, the casserole.
Which was a genius plot device to letting us know how long this took.
It felt like 10 minutes worth of fighting. But, you know, just Carol doing that, and then it starts happening almost immediately afterwards. So, you know, it's like 40, 45 minutes is how long that whole
And that had to have said,
incursion.
in that scenario, that would seem like forever.
Yeah.
Because like a firefight, like the OK Corral, I mean, that in most, you know, movies, it's like a 10-minute gunfight. But I think in real life, I read somewhere that it was like 7 seconds. So just that scenario, it's going to feel much longer when you're living through it. And you know, real time took 45 minutes. Oh my God.
Yeah, and it was great for us as an audience because, like I said, sometimes it's hard to keep track of the timetable in it. Obviously, Rick and Morgan were a lot further apart than we thought.
Yeah.
And, you know, this fight only seemed like it took about 10 minutes, but we know that it took 45 minutes. So it's a great way to clue in the audience how long this fight actually took place.
And we don't really know how long into the fight we were before the truck horn started going off.
Yeah.
And we don't know how far apart Rick and Morgan were when they heard the horn. So there's a couple of things we don't know, but we know that Rick is far enough away that he does not get there in time to help fight the wolves. And it could be that he's dealing with the herd, and so... I mean,
and that's what I was just going to say, is we got a little sneak peek for next week's episode, and it seems like it's going to be Rick's group who is out there herding is on their way back, and it looks like they're going to have a lot of obstacles that they're dealing with. So maybe Morgan was far enough away that he didn't have as many obstacles, or the fact that he was by himself, he was able to...
Because, I mean,
dodge the obstacles.
The road is not a straight road, and so we don't know how many walkers Rick is going to run into as he's heading back toward Alexandria to investigate this horn.
Yeah.
So we just don't know the exact lay of the land, so we don't know what obstacles there's going to be. So there's enough questions that still make it plausible that Rick didn't get back in time to help.
Yeah, they can using next week's episode, they can make it completely plausible why Morgan got there and Rick didn't.
Yeah. Okay, also in this episode, Deanna makes a very intelligent tactical decision in this scenario. Which, I mean, given all the stress, she could have totally botched it.
Yeah, like, Deanna's gone through a lot, and this is something completely outside of anything she's ever dealt with, but she kind of went to show her intelligence and her leading capabilities by telling Maggie, I'm not going in there with you because I'm just another person who needs to be saved. I don't have a gun, I don't know how to fight. If I go in there, you all now have to save me as well. I'm a hindrance to your plan to go in there and help. I'll stay out here. And it's brilliant. Like, it's the absolute perfect thing for her to do. She recognizes her weakness and embraced it and sent Maggie in to save her city.
And it seems like in the span of just a few days, Deanna has come, 180 degrees, because she comes in, when we first met her, they're all very innocent and they think they're perfectly safe, and they kind of live in a post-apocalyptic utopia.
Yeah, they really do. They live in this little bubble of normalcy in the middle of a sea of crap.
So,
but they don't know that.
Yeah. So, and she's learned so much, and she's come so far just in the last, couple of days as far as the show is concerned, a couple of episodes as far as we are. And just the fact that she recognizes now, I'm not capable, I'm in the way, you go do this, I'm going to get out of the way. And it's actually a genius move.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed Deanna in this episode in that regard.
Yeah, and if she continues on this path, I see amazing things ahead for her because, she realized that she was a liability in the situation. She's not going to want to be a liability the next time. Yeah. So I see her learning how to shoot, possibly learning how to fight, so that if this ever happens again, she doesn't have to feel like she needs to be saved and is going to be a detriment to the people doing the saving. Yeah.
But before that, we got this giant-ass herd to deal with.
Yes.
It's heading toward Alexandria. So it seems like we are getting similar to the arc in the comic where the wolves, the enemy attacks and it draws the herd toward Alexandria, and then we get the No Way Out arc. What does seem different is enough of the wolves escaped that it seems like they could go back and get more people and come back.
Yeah, so they might not be done.
And in the comic, we didn't get that. It was, the comic version of the wolves, and then the No Way Out arc, and then it was on to something else that we won't talk about. And it seems like this could actually go pretty much all season with dealing with the herd, because that's not going to be one episode.
No.
There's no way you can do that. It's too big. And then you can do the wolves again, and then you can work around to do something else a little bit later.
Yes. Which we won't say anything. No. What's great though for our Alexandria group is that Morgan did make it back, and he is aware of the herd on their way, because everybody in the town was assuming that they were out on a dry run.
Yeah.
They were not supposed to be herding the walkers.
That's true.
They were going out to check things out and to kind of do a dry run, like, this is what we're going to do. So they probably assumed that they were far away doing this dry run and are on their way back now that they've heard the horn. But if Morgan hadn't got there, they would not assume that they have this massive herd on the way. Yeah. So, thankfully, with Morgan there, I imagine next episode might have some Alexandria prep for the herd, where they're trying to stabilize the fences and such.
Which is a pretty big difference from the comic, because in the comic they had no warning.
They just come in.
We did meet one new character in this episode, Dr. Denise, and she actually played Zoe in Nurse Jackie, and she won an Emmy for that role, and she could win an Emmy for this one, because this one episode, she was amazing.
She was absolutely amazing. I squeaked a little bit because I love Zoe from Nurse Jackie, and I saw her, I was like, oh my god, that's, and she's like, yeah, I know.
I could have swore I told you that ages ago.
No.
that's my fault.
What I love is that she's still playing a medical professional, but she's playing a completely different character, and I kind of am loving the female parallel to Eugene's character. Yeah. Where she's kind of a coward, and she's not really working. But unlike Eugene's character, it doesn't take her long to be like, all right, I can't be like this, and, kind of step out of her comfort zone. I mean, it bites her in the butt, and her patient dies, but, her patient was going to die anyway. So, she at least tried.
Yeah.
Whereas before she was just going to sit there and let the patient die. So I think she'll work through that and be stronger for it.
And I think she's going to be a pretty important part of the group because she's the only doctor they have.
Yes. So yeah, I imagine she'll be pretty important.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more with Dr. Denise. She is, of course, a comic book character, and she's an important role in that. So it stands to reason she'll be an important player in the show.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's it. Is that it?
I think that's it.
All right, I'm pretty sure that's it for this review. If we missed anything, something we should have talked about that we didn't, let us know in the comments and we can discuss it down there. Also, if you enjoyed this review, and we certainly hope you did, be sure to let us know by clicking the like button and subscribe for more reviews.
And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.